The Weaver of Eternity. A craftsman of surpassing skill sat down to craft a tapestry, this artisan of subtle work, the weaver of eternity. He gathered up 10,000 threads of every color, every hue, of black and white and forest green, of crimson and of midnight blue. He chose with care his types of thread, some precious metals glimmering, some threads of gold so finely spun, some threads of silver shimmering. But wider still his choices ran, to silks and linens soft and clean, to bowls of cotton white as snow, to jet black wool, both coarse and mean. Should there be standing close at hand a witness of the weaver's choice, his curiosity might raise a thought, a question to his voice. O mighty craftsman, why select so many fabrics for your art? Your colors are so numerous, you surely cannot use each part. Now, were this question to arise, the weaver would not hesitate, but with a twinkle in his eyes, he'd tenderly and simply state, You do not yet have eyes to see the full intent within my mind. The tapestry is incomplete, you have not seen what I've designed. Then, sitting at the empty loom, the master takes a single line, and so begins the mighty work with golden thread, so pure and fine. At first he weaves with naught but gold, yet still within is variance, as colored gold of white and rose commingle into radiance. Born from the gold, bright brilliance bursts, from weaver's fingers colors fly, viridian and emerald green, and azure thread to trace the sky. Yet every line with gold is traced, with slender filigrees is chased, each figure strengthening the theme, each color limned with golden gleam. Now to our watcher, watching still, enraptured by the craftsman's art, an errant thread is introduced which brings a chill into his heart. A line of sable threaded in which swiftly grows and multiplies, and overspreads the golden gleam which glistered brilliant to his eyes. Although he quails at glory lost, or weeps and cries out in despair, the master stills him with a glance, and once again he speaks with care. You do not yet have eyes to see the full intent within my mind. My tapestry is incomplete. You cannot see what I've designed. The threads, it seems, have their own mind. The gold becomes diffuse and weak, while coarse and rough the blackness spreads from line to blotch to ugly streak. But there, unseen at first, a thread of sanguine crimson wends its way throughout the growing patch of dark, revealing hope of coming day. The crimson threads are traced with gold, as once was all the maker's art, and though much beauty has been lost, a hope remains, at least in part, for while the tapestry seems marred with ugly swirls of mist-thrown thread, still fine designs beneath are laid and traced by lines of gold and red. A spray of color floods the screen, cerulean and azure blue, awash with flecks of foaming white and capped with threads of silver true. This ocean on the threaded screen is laid athwart the old designs, so many themes are washed away amid the spreading azure lines, yet though so much is washed away, there still remains the line of red, while through the flood of blue and white, there still exists that sable thread. It wove its way throughout the flood, although it was diminished much, and soon once more corruption spread and withered all that it did touch. Now he who stood and watched this work could be forgiven for his woe. He might be grieved to see the flood destroy so many themes below. His grief is greater as he sees that anti-theme of black remains, which once again begins to spread and fill the tapestry with stains. And as the weaver once again pays heed to cries and tears of woe, while spinning variegated shades, he hears the cries and answers, No, you do not have the sight to see the full intent within my mind. My tapestry is incomplete. You have not seen what I've designed. The watcher into silence falls, and now the weaver spins with speed, and shapes and stories take their place to sketch a drama dark indeed. The crimson threads are clustered now, an enclave from the growing dark, while all across the tapestry the blackness grows, in contrast stark, but even where the scarlet stands, where gold reflects the light and glows, yet even there the blackness spreads, and even there corruption grows, and soon enough the glory goes, the golden light departs away, and crimson thread remains alone against the dark which shrouds the day. The crimson lines are scattered far, in exile mid the shrouded themes, and though at length they reunite, their brightness has been lost, it seems. The crimson and vermilion are now a deeper burgundy, the luster of the scarlet thread is lost into mahogany. So now our watcher weeps at length, the beauty has been lost at last. But Master Weaver shakes his head, Your mind should not be so downcast. You still do not have sight to see the full intent within my mind. The tapestry is incomplete. You've not seen all that I've designed. And thus the weaver, all at once, unspools a crimson thread anew, and suddenly once more the theme explodes before the watcher's view. When all had seemed like it was lost, a sanguine cross began to form, a light through clouded images, a crimson beacon midst the storm. The cross was traced with brilliant gold, as bright as ever eyes had seen, and though the dark threads rose in wrath, the scarlet gold retained its sheen, and glory outlined all his work, as once again in radiant light the golden threads were intertwined in white, and flax, and red gold bright. And then, amid the scarlet threads, a line of silver glimmers life, and first a few, then more and more are kindled mid tempestrial strife. A new theme now has entered in, these argent glimmers mid the night, and where they spring forth with them come the scarlet threads in golden light, and as the weaver works his craft and plays his shuttle at his will, the silver threads are multiplied, and yet the whole seems darker still. For where the light is multiplied, the darksome threads are driven back, but where no light has yet appeared, the image fades to shrouded black. Still, yard by yard, the weaver works and lays his lines with tender care, until at last he turns and asks the watcher, were he standing there, "What think you of the work I've done?" The watcher pauses with a frown, for there upon the tapestry remains no light, but muddy brown, for every glimmer, every glint of argent and of crimson thread seem all at once to have been lost. The watcher weeps and shakes his head. "Oh, master, it is all for naught. I cannot see what's in your mind. The tapestry is ruined now. I'll never know what you've designed." The weaver does not reprimand, but turns once more toward his loom, and plies again his skillful craft, injecting color into gloom. And now, with glory radiant, new light bursts into darkened scene, as all the themes of light and hope are woven on his mighty screen. Descending comes a brilliant ray, a band of crimson, sanguine red, all filigreed with tritone gold, that theme, arisen from the dead. Behind and with it glistering, a host of silver stars of light, and all about them radiance which drives away the shades of night. The master's fingers fairly fly, a careful gleam within his eye. The tapestry at last is done, and beauteous glory now has won. The watcher, were he standing there, would melt in awe at finished sight, for scenes that once were ashen gray are bordered now with brilliant light, for even all the darkened shades are factored in the tapestry. And now the master weaver stands and asks, "O watcher, can you see? You could not have the sight to know the full intent within my mind, but now, with tapestry complete, rejoice to see what I've designed."